Hey Axis and Allies players, the good captain here, and welcome to this game of Axis and Allies 1914, played against a human opponent, out-of-box setup, no bid. This is round 9, reviewing the France and UK turns, and then executing the Ottoman turn. This will be pretty quick, so I'm going to spend some of the video going over where we are at this point in the game. So first let's do the review. France purchases 9 infantry, 2 tanks, and an artillery. This is fairly shocking. This strong France strategy will be the discussion I kind of hold at the midpoint to the end of this video. France's turn, block clearance team into Munich, 2 infantry and an artillery to remove the Munich infantry. And then he consolidates in Alsace. Puts blocker in Switzerland and keeps the supply train moving forward. Lorraine, Burgundy. Yeah, he's got these guys on the boats, and he completes the move and drops them off into Transjordan. And then pushes these two. Oh, that's right. He pops Albania. Which the AAA doesn't understand that this is an Italian loyal country. It should be orange, not blue. The battle in Munich goes the way of the French. My German blocker fails to make a hit. My opponent fixes the Albania thing before he collects income. Very nice of him. Drops in his units, and France ends with 43 IPCs. Yuck. The British, 9 infantry, an arty, and an armor. If there's one flip side to this strong France, it's a weak UK, and this is I'm used to seeing a stronger purchase for the UK. Okay, sends 3 infantry into Kiel. What is that, you might be wondering? What's 3 infantry versus 1 infantry? If I send 3 guys to clear 1 guy, what's the odds? 70%. 30% chance that the defender causes a draw. What do you think's going to happen? Mesopotamia, this is just a clearance because of this armor present. Even if the Turk gets a hit, 0 casualties for the British. The Brits move from Transjordan to Smyrna, completing this bowl of cereal. Every color now but Russia. Oh wait, there already was every color. Sorry. Okay, does some jockeying of units around with the Navy, and we go to combat. The only one that's interesting is Kiel. The British pick up the kill, the Germans miss. So both German blockers missed, not great. And both clearance teams hit. Not great. Okay, he places 4 infantry in London, and the rest go into India. So India is pretty light. This creates some opportunity on the Ottoman side of the board. Normally, when I play the Entente, it's usually just smash and grab out of India, just kill the Ottomans as quick as I can, but he seems to, this is not completely unknown too, to split the IPCs. And the way he's playing UK here kind of makes sense with what's going on the West Front in strong France. UK collects 43, and so they saved one up. I'm used to seeing the UK, I would say I'm used to seeing it a little bit stronger, but this is actually pretty normal, and that's because Holland and Kiel, these little raids are... France and UK are doing quite well, I have to say. That brings us to the current situation. Now, with the Ottomans, I have deliberated long and hard over this. And I'm still split, to be honest. So let me just draw up what is going on here. We have 17 infantry, 8 artillery, no, sorry, 10 artillery potentially, no armor, and 3 aircraft. And this bowl of cereal is 12 infantry and 3 artillery. And I'm all about inflicting battlefield defeats, at least as of this moment. And this is a whopper, right? If we did a full attack, there is a 58% chance of clearing the territory with a 7-piece exchange, right? I mean, we would remove 21 IPCs in a positive direction off the board in favor of the CP. So this would be, a nice victory to pair with what we just had with the Austrians. But there are a lot of transports out here in the Med, which would threaten the capital. And our purchase is fairly weak. 4 infantry and an artillery is not going to stand up against a windmill attack by first the Italians. They'd have to run the minefield, sure, but they could remove a piece, and then we'd be down to, 4 pieces. Then the Americans could come in with 4 pieces and a battleship, and remove another 2 or 3 pieces. Then we'd be down to basically 2 pieces, and then the French could come in with these 2 infantry in Albania. They're untouchable by Austrians on this turn, so it's a very difficult decision. Yeah, we could leave some units out of the attack and weaken our attack here. The argument for the other side, and that is the purchase. The argument from the other side is we could stack, the other negative is that we give up Ankara and the Syrian desert. The British will be adjacent to Constantinople in force, even if the capital doesn't get windmill attacked, and even if it doesn't fall. The British will be in force and adjacent to us, and we will have not a ton of forces to hold out for very long. So the other thing, and basically what I've settled on, is this move. There's again risk in all of this, but this is a displacement back to Constantinople without fighting. And let me just complete this picture. So this very bizarre looking situation actually means that the bulk of the Ottoman army will survive. It's unlikely to experience any attacks, even though the British have us between hammer and anvil here in Ankara. It's, I think, +1, +2 pieces in the Ottomans' favor. And then we could escape into Constantinople. And the reason I'm leaning towards this is, as I mentioned earlier in the video, multinational forces are fine on defense. And as if you've just flipped the tables, not too worried about these assets that aren't British attacking me, right? They're not going to send I mean, they could combine with units from, like the Americans could load up their assets in Piedmont and float through this minefield and then attack against the shore batteries at Constantinople, right? I've got 4 artillery. And I've gamed that out, and if they windmill attack me, first with the Italians, then with the Americans, then with the French, and finally with the British, yeah, it's possible. It's about 1 in 5, 1 in 6 of that occurrence happening with the forces I haven't set up here. But you know what? There's a lot of risk for the Entente as well, running those minefields, running those artilleries. So this is the position that I'm most interested in, and part of it did have to do with the UK could be much stronger. A lot of these IPCs are going to France, so I see a weak UK build over here. Perhaps we can hold out a few turns longer than we might otherwise in Constantinople if we preserve our army. So this would normally be the end of the video, a 9-minute video. but I'm going to spend a moment reviewing the French turn because this is something I do a lot of, and I figured I normally do this at the end of the turn, but I'm just going to do this now because I did it, because I was just, you know, not blown away, but my eyebrows are raised over this whole French looking. Look at this phallus. It's driving straight down the middle of the map, and it's pretty amazing. So normally I do this thing at the end of the game, but I did it now. Uh, so basically, I'm going to go through a quick history of the game. But before I do, let me say that we are entering a point of the game where I'm not completely comfortable with how this works. This is like my 13th, 14th, or 15th completed game. I'm not sure what it'll be when it finally finishes. Maybe 16th, just depending on how long these turns take with this guy. Uh, but my primary concern for these first 10 to 15 games has been, how do I kill Russia as the CP? And is it better to accept the Russian Revolution or to capture? And I'm slowly, I think, arriving at this conclusion where a good CP player should be keenly aware of how to take advantage of either situation and not make it obvious that he's doing one or the other. Even he shouldn't really know. He should just play the game uh, in an efficient and ideal manner. And um, but also you need to kill it, right? You need to kill Russia. So I've been really focused on that, and then just playing out the rest of the game like, okay, whatever over here happens. I mean, I consider this the first wall. If you can't kill Russia as the CP, game over. I mean, if it just lays there, I mean, this is of course bypassing any kind of kill France first or kill Italy first strategy. By the way, have yet to see those strategies work. So I was really focused as the CP on getting through this first wall so that we can enjoy the rest of the game and make a game of the rest of the game, so to speak. And that I feel pretty comfortable with. Still needs some tuning a little bit, but it's pretty much there. On the west front, okay, now this is where I'm finally starting. I feel like I'm into this area now. I'm really examining this area of the map post Russia fall. Like, what is the best situation? How is it best played as the CP on this side? And now that's where we come with this in with this strong France thing in this game in particular. Okay, so what has happened here is new to me. I haven't seen anybody do this as France, and so when I lose or win a game, I always go through the history and figure out, okay, where did the loss or win begin? Like, what did I do right or wrong? And I'm not saying I'm going to win or lose this game. I'm so interested in this strong France thing that I went ahead and pulled it up right now, and I just went through it. So what was Germany like on turn 2? What was Germany like on turn 1? When was the first telltale sign of this strong France strategy? Like, I need to know what that is so that I can see it in the future. And I found it on really on round 1. There was already evidence of something going on down here in France. Who brings a transport down here and drops 2 infantry in French West Africa? I don't know what this is. I think I even said in an early video that I think this was not the best play. I don't know what he's doing. France needs everybody on the West Front as soon as possible. But it's very clear now that he had a clear-cut strategy, and that was gobble up every single territory that was not British and call it for the French. So he's doing that down there, and I knew that there's an indicator on the first turn. So the first opportunity to have done something about this was as Germany on turn 2. So there was an opportunity to engage in a combat that would basically be an exchange of material in Lorraine on turn 2. This was one opportunity to slow or stop this strong France thing. It would have bought us a turn. It would have forced a contested zone. He would have had to fight in this contested zone on his turn, and he would have basically been stuck there one more turn than he otherwise would have. Yeah, it would have cost me a few extra IPCs in terms of pieces, but he would have been stuck here. What did I do? I displaced to Alsace. What did he do? He takes Belgium, and this is going to be a common theme. You're going to see this sort switch back hopscotch as the Germans pull back and the French move forward. There was another place where the Germans could have done something to slow or stop this strong France strategy, I think, because we'll just go through the turns real quick. Germany goes Belgium, right? And now France is about to go Alsace, but stays in Lorraine. Okay, so it's deceptive in this way. Like it looks like Germany's holding France back. Germany goes back to Alsace, right? We're just going back and forth. France moves Belgium, real strong. Okay, and the British are here in Lorraine now, so it's not even French doing the covering job anymore. Good move. So what does Germany do? This was the mistake. I think if there's a mistake or an opportunity to have, again, slowed or stopped this strong France thing, it was, I could have stacked the Ruhr. I remember why I didn't. I didn't want to have to counterattack it, and I thought I could get a better deal if he came in and I pinched him. What did he do? Blocker clearance into the Ruhr, main army into Holland. This was a surprise to me. I didn't think of him bashing in Holland like that. So what did the Germans do? Retake Ruhr and camp there, thinking that's the end of it. Of course it wasn't. The French, this was that sort of surround the Ruhr moment, and now we're getting into the more modern aspects of the turn, right? So we fight back a little bit. This happens, and then we're basically here we are at the present, right? Now they have the Ruhr again, and they have it down to Switzerland. It's just crazy. And now he's in Alsace, and we're gonna probably we are gonna have to give up the Ruhr again. So it could have all been avoided, I think, if I had fought in the Ruhr on the first approach to it by the French. So back when he was in Belgium. So if I see this this strong France strat again, I now know. I think the thing that Germans need to do is stand up to this bully before it gets stronger. So that's that's kind of the way I hack through and try to understand. And I only did this because this strategy is materializing now in a way that is so poignant that I needed to go back and look at it. The one last thing I wanted to discuss on this video was the total unit value. So what am I doing here? Okay, this is kind of weird. This is even though it's not the end of round 9, I've accounted for the end of round 9 by adding in the resources of the Italians and the Americans as if this was a total unit value. This might confuse everybody, and I'm sorry if it does, but what this is a modified total unit value of the board. What this is the total land unit value at the end of this turn, assuming the Italians build all infantry, and then assuming all the ground units, and assuming the Americans do the same. Don't buy naval units. This is the CP's land value in terms of units at the end of this round, and this is the total unit value of land units of the Entente, not naval units. I've subtracted out the naval unit value of the CP and the naval unit value of the Entente. So again, we're up, what, 70, what is that, whatever that is, not quite 100, what is that, 80, like 75 IPCs. The Entente is up. So they have a battlefield total unit value, a land battlefield, like a land value TUV of plus 75. The Entente has to pay a tax in terms of like transport tax. That's what they call it in global, I think. They have to build transports to move their assets into the theater, unless you're France or Italy. UK and USA have to do this. And after a point, their naval assets are essentially dead income. You don't, arguably battleships with their offshore, but anyway, there is an advantage to the CP. This is how you kind of moneyball. You try to look at this game from different angles. There is a land unit total unit value advantage after the fall of Russia, and before too long. There is some sort of material advantage the CP have when you look at it through this lens. How best to leverage that is what I'm trying to do at this point in the game after Russia falls. Now that I've kind of conquered that aspect of the game, I'm trying to conquer this. Anyway, just something I notice, because the This is actually pretty wacky. Usually it's more narrow than this, but the strong France thing took me by surprise. So plus 30 IPCs with regards to the economies at this point, that's pretty bizarre, pretty nuts. But you know, we will convert this battlefield advantage, this land unit TUV advantage, into IPCs as quickly as we can. I do have a plan, even though this strong French strategy took me by surprise, and I probably could have played it a little bit better as the CP. I am far from finished in this game, those are my thoughts at this point in time. Thanks for watching this. All the best from the good captain, and bye bye.